Welcome to Two Guys.
A girl.
and an MBA.
I have a solution. Not that I could solve all of America's problems, but it's like, these job categories, as you say, a lot of the GDP and the revenue share is coming from these tech companies or these medical services companies and so financial services. That's who's paying these salaries. That's why these jobs are growing. You could stimulate the economy instead of trying to fight your neighbors with tariffs. What about reinvesting in U.S. infrastructure? Okay, we need to drive, more jobs in, drive up the price of some of these blue collar jobs. Why don't you increase the federal? I know the deficit is 33 trillion or whatever, but increase the spending on building America's now failing infrastructure. You have the rated like D plus or something by engineers. Build more bridges, build the roads, rebuild the parks, rebuild the highways and the trains and the planes and the invest in infrastructure spending, and you will see that those jobs will grow faster because there will be budget spent on it. Now, that's deficit spending, but deficit spending is also expansionary. So that actually inflates the economy. It's actually good for the economy if it's done right. If you build a bridge like they did in Kuwait to nowhere that doesn't serve any economic purpose, yes, that's not good. But if you take a bridge that is about to collapse and servicing all these millions of people from one big city in America to another, and you add a lane, and now there's not a traffic jam as long at 5 p.m. every day or whatever, and you'll see that multiplier effect there. The economy will expand if you do this infrastructure spending, at scale in an intelligent way. That would
Yeah.
drive some of these jobs better than tariffs and steel
And
So
you
and
need
everything.
steel for bridge. You need steel for bridge.
yeah, you're bringing up. So Donald Trump, he kind of like looks to certain people in history. And what you described is FDR, Roosevelt's New Deal. Whereas after the Great Depression, he had to get America working. So he created all these programs to get young people back into the forest, to clean up the forest, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and it was targeted at young men, 18 to 25, to plant trees, Public Works Administrative Office. But Donald Trump doesn't use Roosevelt. He uses this guy called Polk, who I have no idea he was a president. And his whole thing was tariffs, I think. So he has a model, but he's using a different model rather than using what FDR's model, which is the Great Deal. So Polk, I think it was an article in one Economist about his strategy about uh, something about tariffs, and it's constantly about applying tariffs to bring back America's economic might. And that's what he's using. And all his advisors have the same philosophy, including,
Mm.
I think, Peter Navarro, ex-Harvard prof, and Howard Lutnick. So he's got a different philosophy. He's all in on this philosophy. And no one else
Uh,
is in on this philosophy.
this philosophy is from 1850, from before the Civil War.
Yeah, okay, whatever. It's numbers. What are you talking about?
At least, at least FDR was within the last 100 years.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, it's his country. That's what I'm saying. He got elected. Let's see what he does. He's not a dumb guy. I just can't see the rationale about all this stuff right now. So,
No, I'm just saying that I'm describing the steel tariffs as pandering to a base and a media frenzy rather
yeah.
than actually trying to drive jobs into steelmaker companies. Like the steelmaker stock went up 20, 30% on the news. They're not going to take the equity that got created and like go cash it out and start hiring more people at the steel plants. That's not
No,
what's going to happen. It's going to go
no,
straight into the industrialist pockets, right?
absolutely. That's why I said, like, I wish I could be there. And when he wakes up in the morning, or he gives me the scoop at night, buy some stock. I mean, I'd be very happy to profit from all this. I'm still on the outside looking in.
When Polk was president, I'm looking at this map. Texas and California weren't even in the union. It was
Oof.
That's how long ago it was.
Yeah, it's interesting, and and who they were railing against at the time was Europeans, right? So obviously they didn't want European intervention in their politics. They wanted to make sure that economically America was strong. It wasn't a country fully formed at that time, but you've got an economic powerhouse called America today. I want to jump into like this whole Harvard thing we talked about a little bit, and I thought about Harvard was the is the prototypical answer to anti-European education, right? So you got Oxford and Cambridge, and America decided, well, we're going to create our own high academic institutions here because we don't want our people to go overseas. We want to create our own in America solution to high education, and yet they're in the crosshairs now, right, with the Trump administration. And so that for me, it doesn't make sense if you put it in the context of, yeah, it's pro-American. I mean, you might not agree with some of the policies, but this is not Cambridge or Oxford. This is Harvard, number one in the world now, and all their Ivy Leagues. So I don't know how that gets into tariffs, but the whole philosophy sometimes gets so muddy for me. I don't get it. I still don't get it. Maybe because there's nothing to get.
Personal enrichment is what it is with him, I think. That's
Yeah,
you
well,
know.
he's going to turn 80 next week, I think.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I think it's his change his decision. So, okay, change direction.
I just think Trump has such an opportunity because he's a builder and a promoter of buildings, and I
He's
hope
not
he
building.
doesn't. But like, okay, like listen to this quote from Medium. The first wave of American infrastructure was built in the Roaring '20s, period of rapid expansion, roads, bridges, water systems designed to last a century. Then the second wave came post-World War II boom, constructed to sustain rapidly growing population for 50 years. Both of those life cycles now run their course. The highways are built for Model T cars, are crumbling under the weight of modern freight, power that fueled American golden age of manufacturing, sputtering toward obsolescence, water pipes laid when jazz was still rebellious, bursting from stress and aging system, increasing population. America's infrastructure isn't just old, it's actively failing. And unlike previous generations, there's no third wave of grand construction on the horizon. And we're in slow motion collapse in the United States. The money isn't there. The willpower isn't there. That's what I'm saying. The opportunity is there. That Trump as a builder could go down as one of the greatest presidents in history if he took on this third wave that would take government spending. But you know how he likes to put his name on everything. Just call it call everything the Trump bridge, the Trump tower, the Trump. We don't care. Just do the third wave of spending because it's about 25 years overdue, honestly.
Yeah, I think he's going to do it. I think right now he's trying to, and I don't disagree with him. You got $36 trillion in debt, but he just signed a big deal that's going to add to the debt, and Elon Musk found it disappointing. So there's a lot of mixed signals. Like, are you going to fix the debt? Why did you add more to the debt? And, build something. Um, Chaos, man. Chaos. Chaos reigns supreme. I think that was He-Man or something in the 80s. I don't remember.
Chaos is like a Greek mythologies and things like that.
Just chaos.
Yes.
Oh, brother. We said we're not going to talk about Trump, and here we are. Trump Bridge, Trump Road, Trump Toll.
Trump. Hashtag Trump.
Please consider subscribing below.
Thank you for being with us. Please leave your comments, feedback, what you think about us, and see you in the next podcast. Bye.